Last lecture we were discussing about pre-processing of the data. So if we have the data that is acquired from some process or from some source that contains noise, then the data is not good to be processed by machine learning algorithm directly. So in that case, what we have to do is we have to pre-process the data. It means that we have to perform some statistical operations and we have to look for some missing values are there or not. If they are there, then what is to be done, how to handle those missing values. These things they come under pre-processing of the data. So we saw that if this is the matrix, which is numpy.nd array, which is created with the help of Python lists. This has 4 rows and 3 columns. And here, along with NumPy, we have imported pre-processing module from scikit-learn library. In that pre-processing module, there were various commands that are available to pre-process the data. So these were the operations: binarization, mean removal, scaling, and normalization. In binarization, what we do is we decide some threshold. Everything above that threshold will be 1, and anything below the threshold and including threshold will be 0. So this command we already have discussed. The output we have seen. Next is mean removal. In mean removal, what we do is we make the mean is equal to 0 and standard deviation equal to 1. So over here, for the same matrix that we considered earlier, like this is the matrix. For this, the mean and standard deviation is calculated. Axis is equal to 0 means column wise, and after applying the scaling operation on this input data, we again calculated the mean and standard deviation like this. Okay, so earlier the mean was this, standard deviation was this, and after performing the scaling, after removing the mean, these are the values. Okay. As seen from the values obtained, the mean value is very close to 0. The mean value is very close to 0, and standard deviation is 1. Mean max scaling. Here we can mention the range, that what should be the maximum value, what should be the minimum value, and along rows these operations are performed. Normalization, in this there are 2 types: L1 normalization and L2 normalization. In L1 normalization, if we have the outliers, then we can go with L1 normalization. So it is robust to resistant to outliers. If we want to retain the outliers, then we can go with L2 normalization. So these are the outcomes of L1 and L2 normalization. You can see the command is preprocessing.normalize. This is the matrix on which the normalization is to be performed, and this is the parameter L1 or L2, like that. And these are the outputs. Today we are going to discuss about label encoding. Okay, so I'll use Paintbrush to. So mostly for machine learning, we use a library called as. The scikit-learn has one requirement, that it be numeric features. Sometimes we have the features in terms of strings. So at the time we have to convert those string into numbers, because we want numbers. This library needs numbers. Before application of machine learning algorithm, the input that is given to the algorithm should be numeric in nature. All right. So in order to address this, there is one process called as label encoding. So encoding, as the name suggests, what it means. number, and then decoding means we'll see how this particular operation is performed. So when we perform classification, we usually deal with a lot of labels. These labels can be in the form of words, numbers, or something else. The machine learning functions in sklearn expect them to be numbers. So if they are already numbers, then we can use them directly to start training. But this is not usually the case, because while acquiring data, we may have some conditions where the answer is there, like yes or no, or there are say three categories: case 1, case 2, case 3. So we may write case 1, case 2. In string format, we can mention these things. Okay. In real world, labels are in the form of words because words are human readable. We label our training data with words so that the mapping can be tracked. To convert word labels into numbers, we need to use label encoder. So as I told, encoding, so string to number. Encoding means string to number. Label encoding refers to the process of transforming the word labels into a numerical form. This enables the algorithms to operate on our data. The codes import NumPy as NP. All of you know NumPy library by now, and from scikit-learn we are importing pre-processing. This module we already have used this module for doing the pre-processing like mean removal and scaling, like those operations. Okay, the same module is imported. Here there are some labels like red, black, red, green, black, yellow, white. Okay, so these are the labels in string format. So tell me the data type of input label. So what kind of object is this? What kind of object is this? Input labels. Can anyone reply? Here, input underscore labels, this object is created. So what kind of object is this? Is it a number? Is it a list? Is it tuple? Is it dictionary? Is it set? What is it? List. Very good. So this is a list. Now in this list, are there any repeating strings? Red is repeated. We can see red, red. What about black? Black is also repeated. Green is unique. Yellow is unique. White is unique. All right. So how many labels are there? How many elements are there in this list? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 elements are there. How many of them are unique? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 are unique. Okay, so with this information, we proceed. So pre-processing, which is the module that was imported, dot label encoder. So this is the function in this module. We will create an object of this function. We create an object encoder of this function. Observe that here in this line, we have not provided the data. We have not yet provided the data. Just we are mentioning that this is the object of type pre-processing. Okay, and then dot fit encoder dot fit, and then we provide the data over here. So the command is dot fit, and we provide the data. What it will do is it will assign numbers to these labels. To all the labels, it will assign unique numbers. Like red, for red there will be one unique number. For black there will be one unique number. Green another number. Yellow another number. White another number. All right. So then we can print this, like print the mapping for I comma item in enumerate encoder dot classes. So this encoder, when we say dot fit, internally it fits the list and it allots the numbers. Okay. But if you want to see them, then this is the way. Like for I comma item in enumerate encoder dot classes underscore, this is the command, print item and I. Okay, so item means actual item, this list, and I means corresponding number. So for black it has allotted 0, for green it has allotted 1, red 2, white 3, yellow 4. So in this way, the strings are converted into equivalent numbers because scikit-learn needs the data in numeric format. Any doubt, any query in this? Any doubt, any query? Okay, so we got the numbers, right? Next is now let us encode a set of randomly ordered labels to see how it performed. Okay, right. So these are the test labels: green, red, black. So earlier we can say that these are the trained labels. From this encoder is trained. Okay, and we know that there are the mappings for black 0, green 1, red 2, white 3, yellow 4. These are the numbers. Now we will ask that for this list, green, red, black, which is another list, name is test underscore labels. For this, let us transform. So this list is given to this encoder. The command is dot transform. Here the list is given unknown, means unknown sequence. Earlier with this we have trained, but now we are asking that for these three elements, what are the numbers? So encoded values can be printed like 1, 2, 0. For green, 1. Check for green. Red, it is saying 2. Red, 2. Black, 0. Black, 0. Okay. So from where it has learned this mapping? Using .fit command, it has learned the mapping, and the mapping was saved in encoder. Later on, when we want to apply the transformation, we want to get the numbers for another set of data, which is similar to this one, like the elements are similar, then we can apply and we can get another mapping. So these are the encoded values. Any doubt in this? Okay. So next is, let us decode the values. Say encoded values are 3041. So these are the encoded values 3041 numbers. So for this, we want the labels back. This is called as decoding, isn't it? So I told you that encoding string to number, decoding number to string. So now we have the numbers 3041. The command is encoder, which is already trained, dot inverse transform encoded value. So this matrix is passed. Then for 3, what is the equivalent string? So for 3, it is saying white. Is it correct? 3, it is saying white. It is correct. And for 0, it is saying black. 0, black. Correct. Okay. So in this, for 3041, equivalent strings are mentioned. And these are the decoded labels. So later on, if you want the original labels back from the data, you can absolutely do that. Okay. So if you have any queries, you can please ask. Okay. So we'll proceed. Next is this revision of confusion matrix. You already know what is confusion matrix. We have discussed. We quickly revise. The confusion matrix is a figure or table that is used to describe the performance of a classifier. So you trained a classifier, and now you are testing it. At the time of testing, there are 4 kinds of values: true positive, true negative, false positive, false negative. It is usually extracted from test data set for which the ground truth is known. So if the truth is known, actual value is known, then only you can tell that whether it is true positive or true negative or false positive or false negative. We compare each class with every other class and see how many samples are misclassified. So this is a matrix along diagonal. We expect the values to be maximum. Like we expect that non-diagonal elements should be 0. If they are 0, then this is ideal scenario, 100% accuracy. If all diagonal elements are present and non-diagonal elements are 0. During the construction of this table, we actually come across several key metrics that are very important in the field of machine learning. Let us consider a binary classification case where the output is either 0 or 1. So these are the true positive, true negative. We already have discussed this with some other example. I'll just revise. These are the samples. True positive. These are the samples for which the predicted value is 1 of output, and ground truth is also 1. So both are 1, truly positive. Then both are 0, true negative. Then predicted 1 is predicted positive, but actually it was negative. So it's falsely predicted as positive. Falsely predicted as positive. So that's why there is type 1 error and false positive. Next is predicted 0, but it was actually 1. So falsely predicted as negative. So this is false negative, type 2 error. So please remember what is type 1 error, that is false positive. Type 2 false negative. Depending on the problem at hand, we may have to optimize our algorithm to reduce the false positive or false negative rate. For example, in biometric identification system, it is very important to avoid false positives. Okay. So false positive means the person was not the person who is desired to enter some secured area, but falsely the person is identified and the access is granted. So is it affordable? No. So we should avoid false positives. But if sometimes there are false negatives, that is also in extreme cases we can tolerate false negative. But false positive is never tolerable in biometric system because the wrong people might get access to sensitive information. Let us see how to create a confusion matrix using Python. So over here we have imported NumPy, then matplotlib, then a confusion matrix, classification report. These are the functions that are imported. Next is these are two lists. One is true labels, another is predicted label. Okay, so for true as a true label, this is also called as ground truth, means actual label of test data. And what the classifier is saying, 2. So in this case, they match, right? 2 they match. The actual label or true label and predicted label by the classifier, they match. Here there is a mismatch. Here they match, mismatch, mismatch. Again, both match. Okay. So this is the scenario. Now for this, the command is confusion underscore matrix. Here we pass both true labels and predicted labels. True labels and predicted labels. We pass them to this function. And what we get is confusion underscore matrix. Then we can use the matplotlib to visualize this particular matrix. Here we are passing the confusion mat variable over here to imshow function, and here interpolation and cmap, these are the parameters that are to be mentioned. Here we mention gray as color map, and interpolation is nearest, so just as to show the values correctly. And then title is confusion matrix, color bar. So like this. So can we interpret this? Here the white color indicates 2.0. So here it is 2. The gray color indicates 1. So here it is 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, here it is 2, 2. And black color indicates 0. So rest of the values are 0. This is how we interpret the confusion matrix. So it is created by this function confusion underscore matrix, which is available in sklearn.matrix command. Okay. And there is the graphical representation. We can have the actual matrix representation instead of these things. If you just say print confusion underscore mat, you can see that matrix. Okay. Next is classification report is important. Over here we can observe, we can mention the targets. Okay, from where we can mention the target? Just observe these labels. True labels. You have to observe true labels. So in this, how many unique classes are there? How many unique classes are there? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 0 to 4 means 5 unique classes are there. So for that, we can actually name that class 0, class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4. Okay. Then over here, it is saying that class 0 has support of 3. What is the meaning of this? Support of 3. Can actually count in these true levels how many instances are there for level 0, 1, 2, 3. So that's why support is 3 for level 0. For level 1, how many instances are there? Only 1. Okay. So for level 1 or the class 1, support is 1. Similarly for 2, it is 2. For 3, it is 3. 4, it is 2. Total number of instances are 11. Let us count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 11. Okay. So likewise, I hope you understood this concept. Uh, Here we have the precision, recall, and F1 score for class 0, class 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we can have the average of these values. So here we can observe these values. Okay. So in this way, we can print the confusion matrix. Uh, these terms precision, recall, and F1 score, we already know we have solved one numerical on this one. So this multi-class case. Earlier we were discussing for binary classification case. Here, how many unique classes are there? 0 is one unique class, then 1, 2, 3, 4. Total 5 unique classes are there. All right. Any doubt, any query in this? Okay, few questions. Can anyone tell the formula for recall? Just type the answer in the chat box. What is the formula for recall? Just type the formula for recall. Then accuracy. How we calculate accuracy? We already have discussed these things earlier. We solved a numerical also. Yeah. Correct. TP upon TP plus F is recall. And what about this precision? And F1 score. Yeah, just type the answer, please. Okay, precision. F1 score. F1 score. Anyone? Okay. All right. So now today we have completed with confusion matrix, and we already have discussed the label encoding part. Next topic is support vector machines. So that will begin in the next lecture because we don't have much time in our hand to complete this. It's somewhat complex topic, so we cannot cover it 10 minutes. So we'll have some discussion now.